Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about a conversation or series thereof of a psychological, spiritual, emotional, mental connective. There are numerous things to consider in that vein, and we try to do that in an audio format on a regular basis. If you are looking to market and sell yourself, your skills, your talents, yourself as a partner, yourself as a business associate, yourself as a dating potential, yourself as capable of certain skills, or to get into a college, this is the audio for you because this is all about the art of selling. And so we all sell ourselves to some degree. To an employer, we sell that we're a good potential candidate to do a job. To a partner, we sell that we're a good romantic catch. To our friends and family, we sell that we are doing the best we can, even though they may not believe us. But there's always an aspect of sales that goes behind nearly every social interaction. So when we get better with sales, we get better at life. And so if you're looking to do that, I encourage you keep your options open. Work with a coach would be a good idea. And I'd love to work with you if that's something you're interested in. A couple ways to do that. You can get in touch with me on Twitter at PO Perception, or you can use the website in the About Me section of this YouTube page and get there from here. The first thing is in sales, rejection is part of the game. You're not going to hear yes every time. Just like when you're going out on a date or you're promoting yourself for a job, you're not going to hear yes every time. There are people that have a cognitive bias and they're only interviewing you or dating you because they're bored or they're half interested or something caught their attention, but they're not really looking seriously, or they already hired somebody, or there's a million reasons for you to be rejected. Rejection, though, is not an indictment of who you are as a person. Instead, it's an opportunity to refine. Is there anything I could have done differently? Is there anything I could have done better? What did I learn from this? Did I learn that I lack skills? Did I learn that I lack confidence? What did I learn? And am I comfortable with the way in which I portrayed myself? The next is always remain neutrally positive. So neutral positivity means that when your positivity no longer feels relevant, when you're faking it, when you've gotten to the point where you're faking it till you make it, go back to neutrality. Yes, good things could happen. Yes, bad things could happen. I'm choosing to believe that all things are possible. I'm choosing to believe that I can get back to positivity. And then when you begin to link your thoughts there, then go back to positivity. Being positive all the time, quite honestly, is fake and unintelligent. It doesn't actually work because it's just like if I said to you, "Hey, why don't you eat a piece of chocolate cake?" You say, "Okay, chocolate cake is wonderful." And then tomorrow comes and I say, "Hey, there's leftover chocolate cake." And you say, "Hey, that sounds good. I liked it yesterday." Then I say to you the third day, "Hey, there's still more chocolate cake. I left you the last piece." And you say, I'm not really sure. Positivity works the same way. If you overflood with false positivity, you're actually doing yourself more harm than good. The next is reinvent yourself and reinvest in yourself. Whether that's working with a coach, whether that's reading books, whether that's watching documentaries, whether that's gaining a mentor, whether that's having conversations or studying and reading books or listening to audio podcasts, always be looking for ways to improve yourself. When you improve yourself and the skills you have in the way in which you promote and market whatever service or skill or add on you want to give to someone's life, the better you do. The more stagnant you are, the more outdated you are, the worse you do. Pretty simple concept, but people often miss it. The next is give yourself new opportunities. Even if something is outside of your comfort zone, even if it's something you've never done before, consider doing it. Not because you're going to be successful at everything you touch, but because you might learn a skill or gain a friend or gain a new perspective in a way that ultimately leads you to go to a meaningful directive. Sooner or later, you've got to understand that there's value in what you're doing and how you're perceiving the world. That value is something that you should be, excuse me, focus focused on in a way that leads you where you actually want to get to. Understanding how to do that and understanding the value of doing that is something that you should be committed to as often as quickly as possible. Um, it's valuable to understand that that's an expansive process, and you need to understand the value of your own positives and negatives. There is value in your negativity. There's value in the things that you don't know how to do. You can always grow, um, and always advance yourself. The next thing to look at is looking at lead with your heart. If you don't believe in what you're selling, if you don't believe in what you're marketing, including and not limited to it being yourself, then you might as well quit. At the end of the day, the value is in seeing yourself in a new, enlightened fashion and seeing yourself as believing fully in what you're saying, and what you're trying to promote or sell. If you can't do that, move on until you can, or gain skills or new insight until you can. And if you can't, then you're in the wrong job, or the wrong or approaching the wrong person relationally or whatever have you. Uh, and ultimately, you need to be able to see yourself as capable of evolution and change for the better. If you can't see yourself as growing, take a step back until you try to sell or market again, and then move forward from there. Um, Ultimately, the more flexible you are with yourself and your own viewpoint, the easier it is to actually get to a place that really counts and matters. And you're not going to get to a place that counts and matters until you see yourself as adjustable, as flexible, and adaptable. And so, giving yourself the grace to evolve naturally is one of the most valuable things you can do for yourself. Be responsible for the things you say and do. Don't overpromise, but don't underdeliver either. In other words, if you're tired, if you're not interested, if you're frustrated, if you're angry, if you're depressed, don't put yourself out there to try and market something, including but not limited to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're not giving it your best effort. And if you're not willing to give your best, it's better to wait uh, until you are, in order to maximize your chances of success. If you don't have a compelling why as to why you're doing something, wait until you do. It's ineffective and relatively useless to try to enter into an agreement with somebody or in a situation where you don't really get the maximum chance of value out of how you're approaching something, from a more positive or progressive manner. The next thing to consider is, and we're, as we close, we've got three things left here. Value your time. Every minute that you're talking with somebody, every minute that you're interacting, giving a presentation, going on a date, uh, you know, learning a new skill, every minute you spend towards a goal is valuable. So only spend that when you're going to be at least 75 to 85% engaged in what you're doing. Our mind's going to wander. That's part of human nature. And expecting your mind to stay 100% focused 100% of the time is not realistic. But at the same time, if you're not at least 3/4 in, come back later. Be willing to learn and grow. I think we talked about studying before, but also have hope for change. Don't have hope for the outcome you want. That's narrow. Have hope for change, because change is one of the most common and almost inevitable things that you're going to deal with. So if you have hope around something that's going to happen anyway, then your level of progress will be easier, simpler, and more consistent and progressive and productive for you in the end. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.